Recording in progress.
Good morning, honorable members, and good morning, colleagues. Mercy, can we start?
Yes, Chair.
Morning, Chairperson.
Can we start, Mercy?
Yes, Chair, we can start.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable members, I will switch off my video. Where I am, there's network problems. If you miss me, Honorable Ntuli will always take over. Once more, good morning to all of you, honorable members. There is an agenda before us, and you are all welcome to this meeting. I importantly welcome all of you, honorable members, and the DPSA. I can see today is led by the DG, because I don't see the deputy minister in the platform. You are all welcome, and feel free to participate, and of which I think it will be the shortest meeting of this day. And now we are, honorable members, moving to the apologies. That I have two apologies before us. One of the apology of Honorable Cebekulu, who's attending a meeting of traditional leaders, and then there's an apology of the minister. I think she's deployed somewhere by the president, I think in Pretoria. She's been deployed in a business forum meeting in Sentin, deployed by the president. So those are the only apologies before this committee, honorable members. And then the next item is the introduction of the monitoring tool by the department. And now that the deputy minister is not here, I will then hand over to the DG, who will then hand over to the presenter of this presentation. Then we deliberate, and after it will be our minutes. Over to you, DG.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you, Chair, and the honorable members. Let me try and put on my video just to show that it's myself. Chairperson, with your permission, I'd like to switch it off. I'm also in a network challenged area. Good morning as well to colleagues who are part of the meeting.
It's you, DG. You're becoming younger and younger. It's you, I can see.
Thank you. So, Chairperson, I think I've extended greetings to all the colleagues from DPSA and the sister departments that are here. I don't want to take much of your time. I was also informed this morning that Minister will not make it because she's probably on a flight now to Joburg because she was called in quickly for a meeting there. But I have my colleagues who will be presenting. Mr. Nico Mabunda, our acting DDG, will lead the presentation, and I also have colleagues who are working technically on the work in case there are any questions that require technical responses. I have two colleagues who have joined the meeting who are from that environment. So without wasting much time, Chairperson, I'm going to, with your permission, request to hand over to Mr. Mabunda. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, DG, and honorable members of the Portfolio Committee. Excuse me. We have a presentation that we'll be taking the honorable members through, which is a response to the request from the Portfolio Committee. And it speaks to our efforts to improve the enforcement of compliance as well as the building of an early warning system. Excuse me. I don't know. Okay, there we go. So this is the outline of the presentation. What we want to share with the portfolio committee is that this work that we're doing is part of the broader public service reforms that are working towards professionalization of the public service. It is also part of responding to the areas of concern that the portfolio committee, the auditor general, the president, and the minister and the director general have raised, that we need to improve issues of enforcement of standards and norms that we have issued as the department, as well as ensure that there's compliance throughout the value chain of the system. So we are now today presenting progress and background to the Office of Standards and Compliance, and we'll also provide an update on the development of the early warning system for the Department of Public Service and Administration. We'll also provide some explanation on the mandate of the department as well as the Office of Standards and Compliance in terms of enforcing compliance, because we have noted that we need to improve our sharing of information on the powers that we have, as well as the challenges that might come because of the limitations of those powers as well. In terms of the introduction, we'll note that this is the minister has powers to set norms and standards as per Section 16 of the Public Administration Management Act. And out of those powers, there is an establishment of the office to support the minister in ensuring that there's a compliance with the norms and standards that the minister would have issued as per Section 3 of the Public Service Act. We also will be very amiss if we don't mention that the OSC is the smallest child or the youngest child in the Ministry for the Public Service and Administration, in the sense that it was only established in 2019 through a proclamation by the president on the 1st of April, and it only became operational a year later in 1 April 2020, when there was a restructuring of the department to make sure that it improves its ability to deliver on the norms and norms and standards, as well as the mandate of the department. We also would like to highlight that for the first 2 years of its existence, it functioned within a very hard space of COVID-19 pandemic, where there were limitations that resulted in some delays in a number of things, but which we have since been recovered over the MTSF. We have also been hit by the, excuse me, by the budget cuts, which has delayed a number of filling of positions like the rest of the public service. So for the moment, we still have a vacant head of the OSC, which is at the chief directorate level. We had to fill in that position through an acting capacity, where there was a secondment from KwaZulu-Natal provincial government with a capable individual that was who assisted us in the drafting of the regulations, as well as the operationalization of the office itself, with the 2 directors that are in existence now, because one of the directors' position is vacant, and we are trying to ensure that there is a filling of those posts. So the Office of Standards and Compliance in total has 9 officials, and 2 of those directors are here with us today, Ms. Ivy Matoha, as well as Mr. Kuben Govender, and will be assisting in the responses later on at the technical level. So I've already spoken about the Office of Standards. So we have 3 directorates. One deals with the public administration norms and standards evaluation. The other one deals with the compliance monitoring. The other one deals with the issue of capacity and functionality audits, because our approach seeks to build the capacity of the public service and the public admin as a whole to understand, firstly, the norms that have been set and the powers that and the responsibilities that they have, as well as to deliver to comply in the manner that they are supposed to comply. So we have 6 key functions of the OSC. The first one is to evaluate the appropriateness of the norms and standards that are issued by the Minister for the Public Service and Administration. So once these are issued, and before even they are issued, the OSC has to determine whether these will assist the public administration and management to be able to deliver on its mandates, to meet its responsibilities and the expectations of the public, as well as have a positive impact on governance, on administration, as well as on public services as a whole. The office also has the responsibility to advise the minister on the execution of his or her duties in terms of how those are set. We are also responsible for promoting and monitoring compliance. So by ensuring that there's clear understanding of those norms and standards, we are also responsible for the development and implementation of an early warning system that will assist us to detect public administration non-compliance, and which may then lead to collapse of governance and administration, leading to a collapse of public services and so forth. We'll be speaking more on this particular issue of the early warning system just now. And then on the 5th part, we are responsible for conducting capacity and functionality audits, looking at skills, systems, processes, and advising on what areas of capacity building initiatives that we need to have, whether through the issuing of compulsory training activities that the NSG will have to implement, and other conducting of skills audits that the DPSA will have to lead. We are also every quarter expected to produce a quarterly report on compliance and the performance of the office's functions to the minister, so that the minister is aware at least every quarter on what is happening, and she can then also intervene. We thought that we should be more detailed on this 6 key functions, so that we share the work of the office. So in addition to all of that, if we want to summarize the whole value chain of the Office of Standards and Compliance, we monitor compliance with minimum norms and standards. So that's why we're now developing the early warning system, so that it can improve the quality of information and data that we have, so that it closes the gaps that we have on information availability in the public service, so that we can have a dashboard that can say, this is where we are and these are the challenges. And once we have that dashboard, excuse me, Honorable Chair, we will then be able to promote compliance, because we'll know which areas we need to promote, which areas are a challenge, which areas need more awareness, and what new strategies do we need to provide in terms of improving compliance across the public service. We'll also be then able to build the capacity and functionality by checking on areas of capacity building that we need to do. And this will be done by identifying the gaps and the support, and provide the directions for improvement, both at the individual level in terms of skills availability, as well as the institutional level in terms of the systems and the capacity that those institutions would have. And then that's only when we'll then evaluate the appropriate, in fact, throughout all of this process, we'll be evaluating the appropriateness of the norms and standards, to ensure that when we promote compliance, those areas that we're promoting compliance on are appropriate, are relevant, and respond to the areas that are needed the most in terms of service delivery. And only then there will be an enforcement of compliance, where we'll be able to say this department or that institution does not have, is not complying with this minimum standards and norms and standards, because we'll then have the available data. So this is just, again, the demonstration of what we will plan to do. We are not going to be antagonistic in our approach. and we will take the professionalization aspect of this to be at the top, where we first promote the compliance through ensuring that there's knowledge, there's awareness, where we share the reporting with the relevant affected individuals or institutions, and then we enforce compliance so that no one can say that they don't know what we're talking about. So we will be improving our communications of the reporting on compliance so that the public knows what we're doing, but we're also providing the relevant support and interventions following the whole value chain of the DPSA's work. Because once the OSC has identified all of these areas, it will be through the DPSA line functions that the interventions are provided. Honorable Chair, our theory of change seeks to improve the understanding of why we need to have compliance monitoring within the public service. So it is very important for us to have ownership, to have buy-in, so that the leadership is committed to consequence management, so that when people are not complying, they're not enforcing their powers, they're not sharing their powers, there is consequence management. We will also be providing the adequate skills as shared earlier, so that there is partnership and there is less maladministration as an impact when we go out. So our overall impact, Honorable Chair, is the improved governance of the state as well as administration, so that we can have an efficient use of resources and then improve quality of life for citizens. So in terms of what we have done, and this is part of the theory of change, if we are to quote Michael Dell, one of the reasons why we first had to understand our own processes is that if you take a bad business and make it digital, it's still a bad business. It just becomes a bad digital business. So what we have done was to first scope our work that we needed to do. We had to look at what are the areas that develop the state of standard operating procedures, identify the blockages that we have in the system, as well as dealing with which areas we want to improve, so that we remove red tape, we remove bureaucracy, we automate some of those functions. We also deal with the digitization process, so that we will have, when we talk about a dashboard, it should be a minister should be able to check it wherever she is. The DG should be able to log on and be able to access that information. And there are a number of things that we have done to safeguard the information, including compliance with the minimum information of standards, security standards, as well as the POPIA, through our partnerships with the CETA, as well as the work that has been done. So in the process that we have done, in the first phase of digitization and modernization of how we work with the system, we have then found that we have no electronic system. We have no measures to quality assure the data that we have. So the manual capturing of data leads to errors that then will cause confusion, as well as disownership of that information from the departments that we're trying to assist. We also realize that it increases the reporting burden because we have not fully mapped out those processes. So we have developed a standard operating procedure. We have mapped the business processes, and now we have terms of reference that we have developed that will lead us to an integrated reporting system. And this is not only for the Office of Standards, but it's for the whole Department of Public Service and Administration as part of the professionalization and public sector reforms that the Director General of the department is leading the department in terms of ensuring that we have quality assured data that will be able to be called on when we want to check on a number of things. So we have put this as part of our annual operation plan, and we will be coming back to report on progress. And in terms of the business process mapping, this is what we have found, is that we have we have conducted a gap analysis. We have indicated the linkages between all the areas that we wanted to have linked on, so that there is linkages between the individual performances as well as that of the institution. But most importantly, we now understand the as-is business processes of the inside the department, that this is how each and every unit works, and this is how they do their work. So we have now mapped about 39 compliance monitoring processes, and all of these will be streamlined and integrated into the early warning system that will be used to develop the as-is current view when we move forward to the next level of compliance. So in terms of the current processes that we have, Honorable Chair, is that we have identified a number of improvement for the DPSA as a department, so that it has the capability to implement and develop the things that it's supposed to develop. So the first part of the work that we're doing is to ensure that the department is structured in a manner that it's able to develop and deliver on its mandate, but also to support and monitor the public service. So what we have decided is the one on the green side. That's what we're going to look at. That's the target of the DPSA state that we want. We want an automated process so that we deal with the issue of data validation, we improve how we actively engage with the relevant people, and we also share information so that it becomes less mundane and less bureaucratic. We have also streamlined processes so that we optimize how we work as a department, including the sharing of documents internally. We're also digitally enabling process management of all the documents that we have, so that there's an electronically available version of each and every work that we're doing. We're also working on ensuring that only electronic signatures are used within document management, so that we're able to track who has amended a particular document. This is work that as part of the digitization of the Home Affairs Department, we've also worked, the public service has also worked on. The electronic signatures also requires what we call an online one-time password. So there is safety measures that have been put in, but we have never had a challenge in terms of the security of that information. But most importantly, it will improve our ability to track who has manipulated a certain document, where that document has been delayed, and what action must be taken to ensure that we move forward. So in terms of that's the target date. I think this is just going into detail on what exactly will be the dashboard that will be finalized when we have. So we'll also have the availability of historic data so that we can deal with the trends analysis. But most importantly, our important part is the up-to-date information on status, on progress, on compliance, on monitoring, on service delivery, on governance, on norms and standards across the public service. So that up-to-date information is what will enable us to close all the gaps that we have identified and dealt with. This is just the progress that we have done. We have in terms of the development of the early warning system. We are now we have finalized the business mapping process. We have developed the terms of standards. We will be, at the end of the upcoming financial year, have a prototype that will be clear about, it will be a working prototype that will say, this is where we want to go. We'll use that to pilot the system so that we're able to find what early warning system functionalities are there, which ones are working and which ones are not. We're also evaluating the systems that we have in the public service to check whether some of the areas that are there, whether we can apply some of the systems that are currently working in the public service in terms of upskilling and all of that. So that's the early warning system, and that's how it improves the enforcement of compliance. But the next part of it that the portfolio committee said we needed to look at is the detailed information on how we enforce compliance. So it's quite a detailed information, but I'll summarize it as we have taken enough time on the early warning part in terms of the work that needs to be done. So we have developed the regulations in 2022, and we are using those regulations to then enforce, we develop the enforcement strategy and enforce the work, the compliance to the norms and standards. So as mentioned previously, ours is not to be antagonistic, but to first use the powers of persuasion to allow and work with colleagues across the public service to enforce so that there is compliance. But we have also entered into a partnership with the Auditor General so that some of these areas that we're supposed to enforce, they can be audited by the Auditor General, and we've then become beneficiaries of the powers of the audit that the Auditor General deals with. So in terms of the work that we have done, what we are doing in terms of office and of standards and compliance in terms of the regulations, we have provided clear definitions so that the public is aware what is it that we are enforcing. We have provided clear understanding of the powers and functions. We have made accessibility to documents for colleagues and logistics. And then we are also making sure that there is an understanding of what compliance is in terms of the powers that are delegated to the head of department as well as the head of the institution. So each head of institution, in terms of the regulations, they have to comply and cooperate with the office. So when we identify that there is information that is showing that there are challenges within a particular institution, they have to, as a regulation, they have no choice but to comply. We are also having powers to conduct performance audits if we think that the information that we have is not accurate, if we think that there are maybe challenges that are not being shared with us, we do have the powers to go and perform the functionality audit. And we will then also have those powers to issue reports and so forth. So there are a number of things that the departments are supposed to have. And one of those is to ensure that they have the information readily available that we need to access at all times. And that information is the one that will be auditing to ensure that there's compliance. There are also a number of, when we conduct the functionality audits, we may also issue directions on the steps that they must take to ensure that there's compliance in terms of building capacity within the institution, whether the restructuring of the department or the institution itself, or whether it's about the building of particular skills that they must have and so forth. And we might provide the specific timeframes to have corrective steps that must be taken. And we will monitor those steps and support them, most importantly, and so forth. But the new power that the Office of Standards in the DPSA has is the issuance of a compliance order. And that compliance order, each and every department is expected to comply with. And if they are not able to comply with that compliance order, they may be reported to the minister, the Honorable Minister for the Public Service and Administration, who may then also engage with the executive authority. If it's a local government, the relevant minister as well as the local government MEC will then be engaged. We might also partner with the Public Service Commission, and we might also report to Cabinet as well as the Portfolio Committee for Parliament to do its oversight as part of this. So all of these are structured in how we are going to do. We call this the enforcement pyramid. Promote and raise awareness, manage the issues that are raised there, monitor compliance, conduct inspections, audit and investigations, and report so that there is a compliance that is measured. This is just a simplified version of what I spoke about earlier. So in terms of what we have achieved since we came into existence on 1 April, there are 3 major areas that we think that we have increased our ability to do our work. The first one is that we have developed a framework on public administration norms and standards evaluation and enforcement. We have also developed a framework on the public administration compliance monitoring, and we have also developed a framework on the public administration capacity and functionality audits. And using these documents, we have then also developed a concept note on promotion and awareness campaigns so that we promote the new strategies to improve compliance. We have also conducted about 3 reports on norms and standards, on leave usage, on a number of things that have been done, so that there is an understanding of the work that must be done by the department and so forth. And this have been done in the past 2 years. I said 2 + 2 because the first 2 years we were under heavy COVID-19 lockdown. So the 4 deliverables that have been key is that we have hosted a colloquium on norms and standards. This has then improved our understanding across the public service, including across the partners that we have in terms of institutions. I've spoken about the reports that we issued on the appropriateness of norms and standards on precautionary suspensions. The portfolio committee has raised a number of issues. So with using that report on precautionary suspensions, we're also coming up with new strategies using through the technical assistance unit to improve how the public service deals with the discipline management, precautionary suspensions. And we have also issued a report now on the appropriate of norms and standards on leave, so that we deal with the high cost to the state as well as the issue of productivity in the public service. And those are the main things that we think that will lead and showcase how our work is improving and impacting on the wage bill, on the functionality of the state, on the productivity of the state, and how we then move forward. So here are as I move towards closure, here are the roadmaps for the next financial year. We have finalized the users' requirements and specifications and for functionality requirements of the early warning system, which then will be used as part of the terms of reference. And then we will develop a prototype that should be ready in the next financial year. We think that as part of the work that we're doing, this is a part of the public service sector-wide reforms, so that to professionalize the public service. And once fully operational, the OSC will improve the availability of the quality of available data through a live database. Will also improve the DPSA's capacity to monitor, support, and enforce compliance, which is something that yourselves as honorable members of parliament have raised, the president, the minister, as well as the AG have called for. We will also be improving the availability of quality data, which will then improve tracking of implementation of PSCBC resolutions, so that when there is a resolution, we implement it and we improve the relations with organized labor, so that we avoid any of the challenges that we have had in the past. So we call on the portfolio committee to note the progress reported in this presentation, to also note the preparations that we have developed towards the development of the early warning system over the MTAF, and note the recommendations that have come out from the first phase of the project and the work that we are planning going forward. DG, thank you so much, Honorable Chair and honorable members.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Mabunda. Honorable members, that's the report. of the monitoring tool. Now I will take hands from honorable members that want to comment or ask questions on the presentation. I only see two hands of Honorable Kibi and Honorable Ntuli. Okay. There's one Honorable Kibi, two Honorable Komane, three Honorable Ntuli, and then Honorable Notnachal, and then Honorable Manil.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Good morning to your good selves and the honorable members on the platform and the DG and everybody from the team. Honorable Chair, let me welcome the progress made by the department on this one. Thank you so much for the presentation. But Honorable Chair, I just have, I think, two questions to the presentation. I want to know on negotiations to labor relations and remuneration management. What would compliance monitoring processes be regarding the negotiations, labor relations and remuneration management program? Does the process include the desire by government to reduce the wage bill? If yes, what are the details? And my second question would be on full and unrestricted access at all reasonable times to any employee by the OSC. Does the full and unrestricted access at all reasonable times to any employee by the OSC mean that even after working hours, the OSC can show up at officials' private homes? If so, is this constitutionally lawful? Those are my questions, Honorable Chair, and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kibi, Honorable Komane.
Thank you very much, Chair. Let us also join in acknowledging the report as presented. And Chairperson, one would then ask, in terms of the gap analysis of the yearly warning system, during the gap analysis of the early warning system, what gaps are identified? And what was the remedial intervention to that regard? And my last question would then be, in terms of the Office of the Standard and Compliance, it is required to report quarterly to the Minister on the progress on the performance of the office's functions. Has this happened since the office was established? How many times so far? And what kind of feedback did they receive from the Minister, if they were? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Komane, Honorable Ntuli.
Thank you, Chair. I would love to join my colleagues in welcoming the presentation. And indeed, we welcome the newborn baby of which the department gave birth to. This is clear. It's a clear indication that indeed the department is at work. I think the department is responding to one of the recommendations from this portfolio committee. Chair, monitoring and compliance is very crucial. And this newborn baby is one of the pillars that makes the public service stand firm on the ground. And really, we commend the department to sort of explore all avenues to make things happen, we really commend them. But also one would like to know whether this will be spread throughout all the spheres of government. Because really, if it can be a pillar to all the spheres of government, it can put us somewhere as a country. And we understanding the linkages that they mentioned, the linkages, the intergovernmental linkages, but also to check if this is going to be spread throughout the spheres of government. And also, I think the inclusion of labor is very crucial, so that we move together. And Chair, one also want to, with the anticipation of the fraudulent and hacking of systems from time to time, I think we commend the department in terms of the security, the provision of the security in terms of the approval of electronic signatures. Because really, on that one was not sure. Hence, I've alluded to the news that we hear from time to time, hacking of systems. Even the banks, sometimes they do experience such. And we also, there is also a concern. Much as we are appreciating this security, there is also a concern of knowing that here and there you'll find a rotten potato from our own employees, not to misuse these electronic signatures for wrong things. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ntuli, Honorable Notnachal.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning to everybody on the platform. I've just got one question, and it will be the following. Is the success of the proposed system dependent on a government-wide adoption of automation, or will the system link with other manual inputting of data? That will be my question, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Notnachal, Honorable Maneli.
Thank you, Slalo, and Willis Slalo, Nakomalungu, and everybody else. Okoyo namhlanje. Slalo, my only question for the day will be in relation to the compliance of this systems monitor. So, Chair, I would like to check as to what are the data points and key focus areas of compliance that this system will monitor. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, honorable members, for your questions. I will then hand over to the department.
Sorry, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Kibi.
Sorry, Chairperson. Let me add also a question to the questions that I've already asked. I just want to know what is the overall impact of the Office of Standards and Compliance since its establishment. And the other one is the interoperability of a digital system requires a government-wide system to enable effective data sharing. What measures will be undertaken to ensure the system's interoperability? Those are my questions. I thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Kibi. I'm handing over to the department.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd like to request that the two colleagues, the two directors Nico introduced earlier on, if they want to have a take on the questions, it's their opportunity now. And then Nico will come back and close the gaps, and then I'll come back later. But I do want to say to the colleagues that we must be mindful of time. Thank you, Chair. Kuben first, and then Ivy.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members and colleagues. My name is Kuben Govender. Let me try to answer a few questions, and while most of the questions are related to my other colleague, Ivy, in terms of the system and the monitoring. Let me maybe start by answering. Yes, honorable member who requested the clarity on the spread to all three spheres of government. While the Office of Standards and Compliance is presently responsible to lead the project on the development of this early warning system, which is based on a compliance monitoring system at a national and provincial level, the intervention bill passed by COGTA actually gives the responsibility to COGTA to start a very similar system for the local level of government. And both our Office of Standards and Compliance and COGTA will work closely in the new financial year to try to work and bridge the gap between the two systems, so that eventually the realization of all three spheres of government data, especially on key indicators, on especially the capacity and capability of institutions. The whole idea of having this system is to ensure that the department can be proactive, to be able to intervene where there is indicators showing red flags of possible worrying factors around an institution not being able to manage itself to its full capabilities and not allow the institution to collapse. So that is the key intention of this system. I think the issue of yes, the office in terms of its overall impact, yes, as DDG Mabunda mentioned, it is a new office, and we can already start to see the impact of the work because, of course, the work is one of the first functions of the office is to evaluate the appropriateness of norms and standards. And we have started to even look at two areas of our own prescripts as the department that could be leading to non-compliance, or if there is a design issue, could be leading to contributing to. And so we work on those assumptions, and we have developed two detailed reports. And I think we are happy that the minister has considered the first one, and we are waiting for the second one to be considered soon. I think I've tried to answer some of those. The security issues, Mr. Honorable Mabunda answered. And of course, yes, one honorable member mentioned the issue of other systems. Yes, we have done a study already on the existing systems in government. And of course, those existing systems will be considered to be built into the early warning system unless it significantly has security issues, as the honorable members have mentioned, that will lead to us then bringing in conformity in the use of the system. The security will be paramount. The data verification, collection, and capturing in terms of its validity will be most important in consideration of the using of existing systems. I'll stop there. Thank you, DG and honorable members.
Ivy. Thank you, Kuben.
Thank you, DG. Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. My name is Ivy Matloga from the OSC. I will start by adding to the last response of my colleague, Kuben, on the links to the systems on whether the success depends on the other systems. Just to add to that response as well, in addition to the linkages that we are looking to with departments, the system will also be able to collect information from other sources such as the PESAL and AXA, and will still be able to issue alerts and notifications and early warning. System will still be able to operate on the information that we get from these other sources of information. On the issue of data points or the compliance, data points of compliance that the system will monitor, those are the areas that are determined by the minister in terms of PAMA, section 16, and which also says that the minister may determine norms and standards also in other areas as well. So currently our reports have focused on compliance areas such as ethics management, delegations management, vacancy rates in government and other employment indicators, just to name a few. On the interoperability again, and what measures we have taken in that regard, I think the first thing is what we have already done, which is mapping of business processes and the strategies that we have developed also to promote compliance with the minimum norms and standards. Last one that I've noted, it's on the gap analysis, what gaps have been identified and remedial interventions. The gaps there were mainly related to the fact that we are manually based with no automation, so our processes were found to be labor intensive and repetitive. So the interventions in that regard would be to consolidate the data in order to avoid duplications. And we started that with the mapping so that things that are repetitive can be consolidated. So automation will enable us to address those gaps. Thank you.
Thanks, Ivy. With your permission, Chair Nico.
Thank you, DG, and thank you, Honorable Chair. I think colleagues have answered the majority of the cases of the questions. So first, just to thank the honorable members for the questions. So I'll be very quick and try to deal with the rest that have been left. So what is the plans on the issue around the enforcement on organized labor, as well as whether this is part of the reduction of the wage bill? So our desire is to improve compliance as well as improve relations with organized labor, as well as productivity. So the system itself is not in any case related to the wage bill, but it is related to the improvement of productivity of public servants, as well as the public service, as well as the issue of improving the way in which we deliver services. So I'm sure that DG, when she closes, she'll maybe explain some more, but that's the part that we're really concentrating on. Because with the system, there won't be any leading to any loss of jobs by any colleague, as that is not part of the work of the early warning system. The second part is when we talk about reasonable access, the word, the operative term there becomes reasonable. There won't be anyone that will be going to show up at the private house of someone unless if they have been designated that place to be a working place. But when we talk about the reasonable access, we're talking about in a work environment, or the world of work, as they call it. So if you are working somewhere, that's what we're talking about, and usually that will be during office hours. So there won't be any violation of any constitutional rights or anything like that. The biggest gap that we found in the gap analysis is what has been a challenge across the public service for quite a number of times. The biggest part was that we don't have reliable data that we can use to make decisions and to improve our governance and public services and delivery. So that was the biggest part. And that's why when my colleague Ivy spoke now, she spoke about the need to automate some of these things, including the closure of the gaps that have been identified on whether someone can manipulate information and so forth. And that's why when we talk about the e-signature, it's where we are going to be able to check whether someone manipulated the information, and when we say manipulation of information, we're not talking about the negative connotation that comes with the word. If someone enters information onto a laptop and someone comes and changes it, as my colleague DDG Abu Bakr will say, that's what they call manipulation of data in that space. How many reports have we shared with the minister, and what was the response from the minister, or the guidance from the minister? We have shared a number of reports quarterly, including what we call the annual State of the Public Service report. And the information that we received back from the minister has been, firstly, that we need to improve interaction with our clients. And when I say our clients, we mean public servants and public institutions, so that by the time we issue out a report, it gets to the level where the colleagues have understood what the methodology was that was used, what the recommendations are. And to a certain extent, they've already given us feedback to say this is how they are going to be improving the work going forward. So that by the time we issue a report, it is as comprehensive as it can be, and we don't have gaps in that on the information where we say we couldn't do certain things because there was no participation of a particular department and so forth. But they become part of that, which then means that they'll be owning the interventions and the recommendations that will be taken forward. That was the biggest, for me, feedback that we received. The other feedback, obviously, has been that we need to improve on timeframes. So issues of turnarounds, as well as issues of when we say that they must improve, we must give them the time to improve by stating when and how they can improve on the issues that we are dealing with. And that's one of the biggest impacts that we have achieved as the OSC since the establishment of the office. The understanding of the system itself, the understanding of the processes, the mapping of the processes, as well as the improvement of relations between the DPSA and its clients, meaning the public administration as a whole. Well, in terms of manual inputting of information or data by departments and the monitoring of data point entry points within the system, this is why when we made that quotation by Dell, we made it clear that there will still be a part for humans because computers cannot work alone. They still need to be fed information by humans, whether it's through writing reports, through updating information on who is coming into the public service, who is leaving, for what reasons they are leaving, why someone is being disciplined, why they've been put on what you call this, on suspension, precautionary suspension. These are decisions that cannot be taken by computers. These are decisions that must be taken by supervisors, by managers, and that once that decision is taken, it then has to be fed into the information system. And that's where we'll then start monitoring how officials are putting the data into the system, and from that data entry point, how then that information gets progressed into the whole public, into the whole system and so forth. And that's how we are going to improve the
Thank you, Nico.
interoperability of the system. Thanks, DG, and thanks, honorable members.
Thank you, Nico. I'm just concerned about the time of the members. Apologies. Chairperson, on that note, I want to take it back to you. I think colleagues have addressed all the questions. I just want to say from my part that I'm quite excited about the possibilities that the system such as this one that we are planning to deploy is able to assist us in terms of ensuring efficiencies from a point of view of the work that we have to do, because there's so many areas that we have to compliance monitor. And even with the system, we must have a phased-in approach and escalate the development of the system over a period of time, because we can't address everything at the same time. But I think that the possibilities are endless with technology, and the possibility of, once we have stabilized the system, even being able to introduce the artificial intelligence ways of doing things through in terms of our own monitoring of departments. So there is quite lots of opportunity, and it's quite exciting, Chairperson. And I do want to say on that note, thank you very much, Chairperson.
No, thank you very much to yourself, DG, and the DPSA team for this presentation and obvious responding to the questions from honorable members. I think now, if you want to release yourselves, you are released, and we will remain as honorable members just to deal with the consideration and adoption of the previous minutes of this portfolio committee. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, honorable members.
Thank you.
Mercy, then the first set of minutes.
Yes, Chair. Good morning to you once again, Chair, to honorable. I've got 3 sets of minutes, Chair. The one that I've just put through now is the minutes of the 20th of February, Chair. And I'm on page 1, Chair. I'll try to be as fast as possible, Chair. On page 1. Page 2, Chair. And then that's page 3. And then page 4, Chair. And that's page 5, Chair. And that's the last page. So, Chair, these are the minutes of the 20th of February. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mercy. Honorable members, those are the minutes of the 20th February 2024. Any additions or anything from the minutes? Honorable Ntuli and then Honorable Kibi.
Thank you, Chairperson. No additions, Chairperson. I rise for the adoption of this set of minutes for the 20th of Feb. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ntuli. Honorable Kibi.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I also rise to support the mover by Honorable Ntuli on the minutes of the 20th of February. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much, honorable members. The minutes of the 20th February 2024 have duly adopted by this committee. The next set is the minutes of the 28th February, honorable members.
Yes, Chair, I'm on page 1. Page 2, Chair. Page 3, Chair. That's page 4. Minutes of the 28th, Chair. Feb. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Masi. Honorable members, those are the minutes of the 28th February 2024. I see the hand of Honorable Maneli and then followed by Honorable Ntuli.
Chair, in the absence of Honorable Maneli's, maybe she has
Sorry,
got
Chair.
connectivity.
I thought I've unmuted myself. Sorry, Chair. No, I was saying, Chairperson, as I move for adoption of these minutes, but there's a correction there where the name of the chairperson must be corrected. It still reflects the old chairperson or the previous chairperson. With that, Chair, I move for adoption of this set of minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Maneli. Honorable.
I second Chairperson with the amendment.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ntuli. Masi, you must correct the amendments from honorable members. The next
Noted.
set, honorable members.
The last one, Chairperson, on the minutes of the 6th of March. I'm on page 1. Page 1. I'll move, Chair, to page 2. Page 3. Page 4. That's the last page, Chairperson. These are the minutes of the 6th of March, 2024. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, those are the minutes of the 6th March 2024. Okay, there's a hand of Honorable Kibi, followed by Honorable Ntuli.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I move that the minutes of the 6th of March being accepted by the committee. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson. I second Honorable Kibi on the adoption of the minutes of the 6th of March. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. The minutes of the 6th March have been adopted as a true reflection of the meeting of that particular day. Anything else, Masi?
Nothing, Chairperson. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much, honorable members, and thank you very much to the team of this portfolio committee. Now the time is 10:39 and the meeting of this portfolio committee is adjourned, and thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, Chair. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, Tlalo.
Recording stopped.